He was responsible for the first school for Africans, petitioned the Great and General Court for the right of Africans to fight in the Revolutionary War, and advocated for freedom for all men. Prince Hall is recognized as a notable figure. Ground was broken and the Prince Hall Memorial on the Cambridge Common was unveiled. City TV 8 was there to capture this historic event.
On a picture-perfect spring morning, residents of the city and countless others gathered on the Cambridge Common to celebrate the life and contributions of one of the nation's overlooked founding fathers. Prince Hall, lesser known but of no less significance than those men who are widely recognized, not only challenged the principles of democracy, but helped to define this country's virtues.
I must say this, what it means to the Prince Hall Masons is second to what it should mean to all Americans, that finally the contribution of Black Americans during the founding period of our nation is finally brought to all of us in the form of this memorial to Prince Hall. As you discover more about him, you will then discover why the city of Cambridge has now considered him one of the founders of this nation. Please check that out.
The Prince Hall Memorial Monument Project was the brainchild of former Mayor and Cambridge City Councilor E. Denise Simmons. While the process of siting the monument has been long, the journey has proved rewarding.
So my job here is to tell you a little bit about the history of the project. And I have to tell you, I am just basking in the moment. I am just basking in the moment of not only having the monument here, but having all of you here. Each of you, particularly my brothers and sisters from the Prince Hall Masonic Lodges and the Order of the Eastern Star, all of us are monuments in our own way to the tribute and the duty and the work of Prince Hall.
To open the dedication ceremony, Cambridge Mayor David Marr presented the opening remarks.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here today. You know, we live in a really wonderful, wonderful city, and we want to celebrate all people and the impact that people and important folks have had on this community for a very, very long time. And here we are today gathered to celebrate someone who was born almost 300 years ago. And if you think about that for a minute, it really says something. This community is a community of inclusion, a community that wants to bring people together, and this is the place that we do it, right here on the Cambridge Common. So to be able to stand here today and be able to witness the unveiling of this very special monument to Prince Hall is a terrific thing for me and for all of you, and very proud for our city.
Prince Hall Mason Lawrence Smith's remarks revealed the motivations and early challenges of the order.
As we now know, operative Masons were the builders of monumental edifices like the great cathedrals, and on the other hand, speculative Masons have been builders of men, dedicated to making good men better, while those good men strive to make everything around them better. As proud members of the craft, we know that it was Prince Hall's commitment to the tenets of our profession, brotherly love, charity, and truth, that fueled his zeal. When queried about the abrasive attitudes of some contemporary white Masons toward black Masons, Prince Hall was quoted as saying, quote, "Harmony in general prevails between us as citizens, for the good law of the land does oblige everyone to live peaceably with all his fellow citizens, let them be black or white. We stand on a level, therefore no preeminence can be claimed by either side."
After a host of speakers and presentations, Councilor E. Denise Simmons introduced the keynote address from Beverly Morgan Welch, Executive Director of Boston's Museum of African American History.
We have have the pleasure and the honor to have a tremendous woman with us today, Beverly Morgan Welsh. Beverly Morgan Welsh is the executive director of the African American Museum. She is the foremost scholar of the history of African Americans in Massachusetts. While we were putting together and working on this committee, I would sit and talk to her, and I was just blown away at the amount of information this young woman has. She is clearly the foremost scholar, and she has been kind enough to spend some time with us today to give some brief remarks. So please join me in welcoming her, Mrs. Beverly Morgan Welsh.
I am truly honored to be here, and albeit that the Honorable Counselor Denise Simmons proclaims me the foremost, I see other scholars in this space that I would defer to in a moment, who have worked for many, many years to bring Prince Hall before the public forum to be celebrated. I've got to tell you, I'm a little emotional. I broke down in the car on my way here. If you do not know the significance of today, I'm going to try to provide it to you, provided that I can unleash my glasses. Oh, there we go, because I cannot see my remarks. And hold on. African Lodge and the Prince Hall Masons are a force to be reckoned with. These first black Masons stand tall and define what it means to be a man. This planned value system claims life and structures and empowers masculinity, not as reactionaries, but as men making their own way in the world. The organization rewards and measures a man by his deeds, his faith, his family, and his friends. The order is focused on work that develops skills, mind, and capacity. It ensures shelter, food, and clothing for loved ones and community, individually and collectively protecting life and even an enslaving country. These men treasure domesticity, recording births and deaths and marriages. Home is as important as the halls of Freemasonry. They nurture not only their own families, but their institutions and their community. This is a time when one's stature is measured by service. Belonging to an organization calls these men beyond themselves, focusing their energies on individual and community values for betterment. So after they formed the African Lodge, they formed the African Benevolent Society in 1796, the African School in 1798, and it leads to the African Meeting House on Beacon Hill in 1806. This is where it begins, my friends. This is where we learn about American history. We glory in Paul Revere and George Washington and the Adamses, and appropriately so. But standing alongside them is Prince Hall.
Finally, it was time for the moment that everyone was waiting for. The latest addition to the Cambridge Common monuments. The Prince Hall Memorial was unveiled to the delight of all in attendance.
Well, that's it for this edition of City Scene. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to know more about any of the events that we've covered, or want more information about any other happenings in the city, please check out our website at www.cambridgema.gov. For the staff at City TV 8, I'm Terry Carter. Have a good night.